Well, welcome to the weekend review for Module 8, the final weekend review for the course. Yay, you've made it. And that is really an accomplishment when you think about all of the material that you've had to digest over a very, very short period of time. I was adding up all the chapters. We have 12 chapters that we've covered within that textbook. And I know that wasn't necessarily easy reading. And when you think about accounting, it's sometimes like learning a foreign language, and you had to do that in a very, very condensed period of time. So the fact that you're here through Module 8 is definitely something to be proud of, that you've completed the course. When you look at this material, we've covered a lot of material, and typically a course like this with both managerial and financial accounting would be covered within 6 credit hours. 3 credit hours for each. The approach we've taken with this course is to try to cover those topics not in as much depth, but to give you sufficient knowledge so when you're out there as a healthcare administrator, as a healthcare leader, you have a good foundation in accounting. You understand some of the basics there. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, understanding how to do ledger accounts, T accounts, debits and credits, you're probably never going to do that in your, and I hope you never do have to do that in your job, unless you decide to become an accountant or you really are attracted to bookkeeping, which I'm not. But as a healthcare administrator, it's good to know how those processes happen, because you will be dealing with the final end of that part of accounting, whether it's the income statements, balance sheet, cash flow statements, budgets, for sure, and the accounts and subledgers. You will be dealing with that. So our goal was to give you a good understanding of everything that kind of leads up to those products that you're going to be using ultimately to make decisions for your department, your division, and the organizations that you work for. So I think we have a mission accomplished on that and giving you that good foundation. So again, congratulations for reaching this point in the course. But we still got one more module to go, and so let's talk a little bit about Module 8. Let's jump into the module real quickly here and take a look at what we're doing. Let's see here. Let me quickly sign on. And I'll only take a second here. There we go. Okay, so with that, we have this week, we'll be doing one more chapter. So we're still doing chapter 23, so that'll be our 12th chapter that we've read in the book. You will have the study guide that will go with that. So answer those questions. There will be no quiz, or no, I should say quiz, but there will not be a homework assignment specifically linked to chapter 23. As I mentioned before, we're going to use homeworks 9 and 10 for you as a kind of final review for the final. So definitely do homework 10. It will add more to what you did in homework 9 to help you prepare for the final exam. We'll talk just a moment on the final exam. So make sure you finish that homework this week, and you'll be good with that. Then lastly, we have this assignment right down here. We have a discussion, and it'll be around the Mercy core values and accounting. So how do the core values relate to accounting? You got numbers and balance sheets and ledger accounts. How does that relate to the Mercy core values? I think what's important to know that even if when you look at numbers are actually, those are ultimately the measurement of people's activities, and the ultimate, I guess, end of those numbers, or where they derive from and who they impact, are people. And that's what really the Mercy core values are about. They're about people and the treatment of your fellow man. So I don't think it's hard at all to relate that. Sometimes I'm accused of being a numbers guy or a bean counter, and I ultimately think, well, that's in some ways it is a very good way for us to assess the health of our organization and our people, whether they need additional resources or what to make their jobs better and more fulfilling. Numbers can obviously be used in a negative way too. But it is our hope that you use I guess your skills for the dark, for not the dark side, but for the light when it comes to like accounting and finance. So this week we're going to be having a discussion on relating the core values to the practice of accounting within healthcare. So hopefully that is a nice little refreshing piece there for you. And then finally this week, and I'll scoot this down just a little bit, we're going to have our final exam. So the final will comprise 10% of your grade. It is 100 points, and there are 100 questions that will be on the final. We're covering all of the chapters that we've read here. Whoops, go back down here. Chapters, the 12 chapters that we've read, including chapter 23 this week. There are, I think, 7 questions on the final from chapter 23. So I guess don't blow off 23. Do give it a good, maybe a quick read, but give it a read, because you will have some questions from chapter 23, which is on budgeting, on the final. And you will have 3.5 hours to take that. So hopefully with the practice that you've had in homework 9 and 10, the 3.5 hours should be sufficient for you to take that. I had a student who just texted me a few moments ago, and he completed it without any problem within that time frame. So hopefully you'll be okay as well in completing that with a time frame. I try to be generous on the time, so that shouldn't be an issue, but nevertheless there's going to be a clock. You'll see it when you open up your exam, and just be aware of the time just in case you're like 80, you're on question 80 and you've only got 10 minutes left. So you might want to practice a little bit of time management just so you don't get into trouble with the exam. Okay, so that covers, I think, a little bit about the final. Again, I don't anticipate any problems. The final is open for you right now. I came open at Tuesday at noon. So, all right, let's going on just a couple more things about final grading. So as of right now, it is Tuesday at 4:27. I have not caught up on all the grading. I will, unless some catastrophe befalls me tomorrow, I will be all caught up with your grading by tomorrow at 5 o'clock. If you, I would encourage you to go back and look at your grades and see if there's anything unusual, out of place. Let me know. Now, what I like to do, if there's an assignment, I don't see the assignment is in a Dropbox or whatever, a discussion or what have you is missing, I'll put a 1, a single point value in for that assignment, kind of to draw your attention to it. So if it's something that you didn't submit and would like to, know that I accept late work. There is a slight deduction on points, of course, to be fair for everybody that got it in on time, but it's much better to get some points out of an assignment than 0. It's often the difference between a letter grade, 20 points, 30 points here or there. Had you just handed in an assignment rather than taking it as 0 on it. So please do that. Or if you simply said, hey, Chris, I turned that in, why did I get a 1? That might cause me to look and dig a little bit deeper into maybe why that assignment is not showing up in my Dropbox, or maybe I just missed it. So if you see a 1 in the grade book, that's what I do. It's basically I don't have an assignment in that area, and work with me to get that complete. We have until Sunday at midnight, as most of you know, Sunday at midnight to get everything in. That also includes the extra credit. If you wish to do that extra credit assignment, which was presented, I believe, in Module 7, feel free to do that. You may, want to do that after you tally up your points. And if you feel like you need a few extra cushion points, then go right ahead and do that assignment. As long as it's in the Dropbox by Sunday at midnight, I come in on Monday morning, I grade whatever we haven't graded yet, those last minute assignments. And final grades are due, for me, I have to have them submitted by noon on Monday. So that doesn't give me a lot of time. Really, it gives me no time to track anybody down for missing assignments. So please make sure you have everything in by, I guess, Sunday at midnight for sure. All right, well, that kind of concludes a lot of the maintenance issues, how we're going to go ahead and complete this course. It has been a pleasure having all of you in this. I know it's been a difficult, it's not an easy course. Accounting is not easy. It's like a new language that you're learning in an 8-week time period. But I think the benefits of what you've learned from this, just the exposure of these concepts, and that's really, we're not going to make accountants out of you in 3 credit hours. The goal is really the exposure to these concepts, not mastery, not full understanding, but just a general awareness and exposure to what these accounting concepts are for both managerial and financial accounting. And I think that we did that for you. And I think you're going to be using these things that you learned in this class in actual applications when you are out there, and some of you are already out there in healthcare and leadership roles, manager roles. I definitely think you'll be using these, the things that you learned in this class kind of going forward. So again, it's been a pleasure having all of you in the class. If you have any questions as we come down to the final run here in the next few days, feel free to text me. Last week was very chaotic. We had our graduation and I was dealing with all of our graduating folks because they had to have all their work done last week. So everybody was graduating. They've already completed their finals exams. So, but I'm all done with them. So this week I can solely focus on you guys this week. So if anything does come up, just let me know. Well, that pretty much concludes it. And as always, thank you for watching.